After work on May 10th, Norman District Supervisor Quay Prough was delivering supplies to his friend's snow cone stand in Little Axe, where his wife worked. It was a routine trip he'd made 1,000 times before.
We were, kind of monitoring the weather all day that day. The meteorologists were talking about, all the possible bad weather that we could have later on in the afternoon.
The weathermen were on the mark. Severe storms sprang up late in the day. Tornado warnings soon followed. Quay grew anxious as he headed toward Little Axe. He had made several desperate attempts to reach friends and family, but there was no answer.
I probably wore the speed dial out on my phone trying to get a hold of him.
Suddenly, out of nowhere, a tornado dropped from the sky and began chasing Quay's pickup down Highway 9. I
looked to my left and I could see the big tornado coming down the north side of the highway, and it kind of blew my mind.
He knew lives were in jeopardy.
I could see how big and impressive it was at that time. Of course, I've got my flashers on, I got my window down, I'm waving it, pointing in the air and trying to get people's attention. It was like nobody wasn't seeing it.
The snow cone stand sits next to the Country Boy Market, full of customers and employees. He knew he had to take action. Quay ran into the store to warn the manager the grocery store was in the tornado's path.
And I told him, I said, man, tornado's coming, it's massive, it's big, it's gonna be here in a matter of a minute, and so they were trying to gather up people. Looked like they were getting everybody pretty well headed to the back of the store.
The goal was to get employees and customers into the freezer. Quay and the store manager, Shane Kennedy, did just that. Fearing there was not enough room in the freezer, Quay jumped back into his truck to take shelter elsewhere.
We get the door shut, and as soon as we shut the door, it just got real loud all of a sudden, but it got quiet too. It was like all you could hear was the sounds of what was hitting the freezer. The freezer, you could hear it, and then the suction in your ears.
Quay took refuge in a nearby church. After the danger had passed, he returned to the decimated grocery store and began digging through the debris for victims.
I started digging, moving some beams and stuff because I knew they was going to have to get them out of the freezers, And about that time, they started kicking on the door, and we got, I got enough stuff moved out of the way and got it where we could start getting some of those people out of there.
When they emerged, they could see sky through the missing roof. Twisted metal and broken glass strewn everywhere. The parking lot resembled an auto salvage yard.
When they come out, and they just started bawling, and it was a real emotional situation.
Miraculously, there were no serious injuries at the Country Boy Market that violent spring afternoon.
Good Lord took care of a lot of people that day. Ain't no doubt about it. If he hadn't had his hand in it, there'd been a lot of dead people, I'm afraid.
Storm survivors say Quay Prough's heroics were a big reason why, but the modest member takes no credit.
I didn't do anything special, I'd done what anybody would have done.
For his bravery, commitment to public service and safety, we proudly present Quay Prough with the Positive Energy Together Award.